Hello and welcome to the Daily Royal. My name is Shelby and I have been a royal watcher for the past 10 years. In this podcast, I talk about the daily events of 7 of the European monarchies. So I talk about Belgium, the UK, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. I upload Monday through Friday with occasional bonus episodes here and there. Today we are going to be talking about all of the events from Thursday, May 6th of 2021. I cannot believe it is already Thursday. You guys, I feel like this week is going really fast, but also really slow. It's really like the whole of the last year, where I feel like March 2020 was a day ago, but also somehow 16 years ago kind of thing. That's how I feel about this week. It's been like a day, but also 100 years. Anyway, just a little peek into my brain. I've had a weird week, clearly. So here is what we're going to do. This is the little bit of a plan that I've come up with for the weekend. So I was going to do, I talked about yesterday doing a Saturday episode. I'm not going to do one because, if I do that, then I'm not going to have an episode to put up on Monday because there aren't a lot of weekend events scheduled, and so we wouldn't have an episode Monday, which would be fine, except for, not really, because it doesn't give us, it doesn't put us back on a track or anything. So we are going to do Monday through Friday this week, even though I missed a day somewhere in there. I think I missed Wednesday. I don't really know anymore. I think I did miss Wednesday because I recorded yesterday. But there are some cool events happening tomorrow, and so those will be in Monday's episode. So we're going to jump in today and just start talking about the events. It was a pretty chill day. There were a lot of events in certain countries, but only one of those events became something to talk about. So we're just gonna go through this, talk about it all, and then finish this week as strongly as possible for me. So with that, let's go ahead and start talking about the Belgian royal family. All right, in Belgium today, there was one event, and it's King Philippe met with the chairman of the Brussels Parliament to mark the Iris Festival for 2021. So the Iris Festival is the annual festival that celebrates the Brussels capital region. This year it kicks off on May 8th, and it's just a way to celebrate the community. So I found this to be really interesting because I haven't heard of any other festival in these 7 countries or in my state that just celebrates the existence of a city, which is kind of interesting. I mean, it's really cool because there aren't a lot of places that do that I've seen. I mean, so for example, in Spain, Madrid, each kind of autonomous community, which is similar to a state if you're from the US, an autonomous community in Spain is similar to a state. And so each autonomous community has its own day, and that's kind of something, but there aren't festivals to celebrate it. Madrid, for example, just had their Dia del Madrid, which is Madrid's day. And it's, I think, every May 3rd or something, or May 2nd. And there's a bank holiday, but it's not really super festival-y. There's an event and then it's over. And the same thing for Spanish National Day and stuff. But aside from national days, like, there aren't things that celebrate specific cities. So I found this really cool. And it's also, like I said, it's called the Iris Festival, so it's representative of the iris flower, which is on the Brussels Capital Region flag, which I thought was really cool. It's a way to incorporate everything. I find myself wondering what the significance of that is, but I think it's cool overall. So that was the event in Belgium today. Not a whole lot there, but it was something. And then, it's just been one of those weeks. Like, sometimes we have really, really busy weeks, and sometimes we just have weeks like this where it's like pretty consistently slow, with a lot of what I call like the running back families in my head, and that's a American football term, but like the families who kind of carry the podcast, when they have lower weeks like this, it feels very slow. So like, Belgium usually can help out a lot. Spain helps out a ton. And then like the UK are kind of what I consider like the ones that work the hardest. And numbers reflect that. And the British royal family is really because they just have so many people. But then like, the Netherlands pop in and out of that busy category. It just kind of depends. So this week has been really quiet in both Belgium and Spain, and so it's just a weird week. But anyway, that is what was going on in Belgium today, and now we are going to move on to the British royal family for their events of the day. In the UK, there were 2 different events today from Kensington Palace that were shared publicly. The first one, and I was kind of disappointed in the way they shared about this one. It'll make sense in a minute, though. So today, the Duke of Cambridge visited the organization Brighter Future, which is a local organization built of 8 groups, so like 8 local groups, working together to create a better future for their community. So they work on different things, like community outreach, but also civic engagement within the community, like different ways to make things better, because change is not like done in just one way, like improvement and things like that. It's done lots of different ways. And so these 8 groups kind of all came together and said, what can we do together to improve our community? So I thought that was really cool. But that's pretty much the extent of like what was covered from Kensington Palace, at least in terms of the engagement. But then this is probably why. So today, ahead of the launch of the photo book Hold Still, which is the photos of the 100 photos of the Hold Still photo competition that the Duchess of Cambridge and the National Portrait Gallery launched. And so that comes out like this week. It might come out tomorrow. And so ahead of that, Kensington Palace launched this series where the Duchess of Cambridge is talking to some of the selected winners about the photo, but also just like about their time during the pandemic. And so today, they shared a conversation between Kate and 4-year-old Mila, who had a photo in the book that was taken by her mom. And you guys, this story is so very cute. I am going to have it linked on the website to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's YouTube video of the event. Also, this is what they're using their YouTube account for. Talked about this yesterday, but like, just so you know, this is what it's being used for. Not any of the ridiculous things that I've seen online, which means you probably have too. So, this little girl was undergoing chemotherapy treatment at the beginning of the pandemic. I think she had only received maybe 4 treatments. And so she and her family made the decision well, she did not because she's a child, but her parents made the decision that they would separate during the pandemic in terms of where they isolated at. So her father, who needed to go to work every day, was not living in the home, but he would come by with her older sister and they would visit from outside. And so the photo that they shared was from Mila looking out the window at her dad. And it's a very cute photo. And then having her like explain that story to Kate in like her 4-year-old eyes is amazing. They talked about pretty pink princess dresses and, Mila asked if Kate was in her costume, to which she said, no, I'm not in a princess costume. And it was just perfect and so sweet and lovely. And they talked about how if they ever get to meet, Kate will wear a pretty pink princess dress. And now I can't wait for them to meet. And it was just very sweet. And so, of course, that took the focus of the Kensington Palace social media team today, just to make sure it was good. And it was really good. It was just great. And I don't know. It's very cute and it's very emotional. And I'm really excited to hear the rest of these phone conversations that they're going to do. I'm hoping it's more than just the one. So those were the 2 public-facing events. I'm going to pull up the court circular now, assuming there is one. There should be, because it's 7-11. That's fun. That's always a fun time. Yeah, okay, so the court circular for May 6th. Okay, this looks exciting. So at Windsor Castle, the Queen, who is patron of the Royal Life-Saving Society, this afternoon received the Honorary Commonwealth Vice President, Royal Life-Saving Society, and past President of Life-Saving Society in Canada. So they met via video link, where Her Majesty presented him with the King Edward VII Cup. I'm hoping they share more about that later. And then we have Kensington Palace. The Duke of Cambridge this morning visited Brighter Futures. The Duchess of Cambridge, who is patron for Action on Addiction, this morning held a meeting with the organization via video link. And then Kate also held an early years meeting this afternoon. So that is what was going on in the British royal family. Now we're making a jump. We're skipping Denmark and the Netherlands because they had no events for today. And we are moving on to Norway. In Norway today, like I said, so Norway is the country that had a lot of events, but there's going to be one I can give you information on because the other ones are they're more private engagements where things aren't shared. So, first thing on the agenda, King Harald, Queen Sonja, and Crown Prince Haakon held a meeting with the foreign minister. Next, Queen Sonja held an audience with representatives of the Norwegian Handicraft Association. Then King Harald received the credentials from the new ambassador from Hungary to Norway. I am so bummed that they didn't share photos of this. So if my recollection is correct, and it could be wrong, we have seen in a year and a half, because that's almost how long I've been doing this at this point, I've seen King Harald receive credentials once, and he received them from 2 ambassadors. I know more has happened, but those are the 2 we've seen. So I was hopeful that maybe, but that's okay, because later on we saw King Harald and Crown Prince Haakon, because today the summer sailing season for the Royal Norwegian Yacht began. Now, here there's like a huge thing here. If you were listening yesterday, you know I went on a rant about the royal yacht sailing season. Okay, so I think I might have misunderstood some things, which is hard to admit. And I'm not sure if Denmark does this the same way that Norway does, but it seems like maybe they do. And so I need to make amends for that because that was an unfortunate error. I still don't get it, but anyway. So here is what Norway's system is and what I think I missed in the Danish season. And I won't make this mistake next year because I will remember how humbling this moment is. So today, King Harald and Crown Prince Haakon ensured that the ship was ready for use. So they wanted to inspect it and make sure it was ready to go. The sailing schedule for the summer is not yet set, but the yacht will be used over the summer. So here's what I think I missed. And there weren't sailing seasons last year, and I missed some things, okay? I missed some things. So while the ships are ready to go, it does not mean that the royals who inspect them are on them at all times. They're not just gallivanting around. Okay, so, which was my mistake, and also Google Translate has some blame in that system, because I'm sure they said some things and it just didn't translate well. So, that's what I think this event, I know that's what this event was, and that's what I think the event on the 4th was for the Danish royal family. So yeah, I messed up. I still believe what I said in that if you are starting to sail around your country, maybe you should have done more than 10 events for the year. And I think that for King Harald too. I understand he was on sick leave and like I understand that, but like come on. But I don't think that's what's happening. So I'm pretty I put my foot in my mouth yesterday, and now I'm making up for it by recognizing that what I did was wrong. So anyway, that's what was going on in Norway today. And now we are going to move on to the Spanish royal family. In Spain today, there was one event. So today, King Felipe was in Valencia to preside over the closing session of the General Assembly of the Business Confederation of the Valencian Community. So basically a gathering of Valencian businesses who all come together and talk about the area and also ways to make the community and also the business community stronger. So, I don't have a lot to say about this. I really don't. I didn't do a ton of research on it. I didn't really want to do a ton of research on it. Sorry, it's boring. And that happens sometimes. There are things that I'm like super not into. And also like, I always keep in my mind, like, I talk about the Spanish events a lot because I read them a lot because I understand the language. So that's really what was going on. Felipe gave a speech. He sat through the closing session. He talked about the importance of business. This is no different. This feels no different than any other business conference he goes to, and he goes to a lot of them, and he presides over a lot of them. So it's just kind of boring and the same. I am excited about tomorrow's event, so in the Monday episode, expect a good bit of conversation about the Spanish event from tomorrow because I'm very excited about it. But for today, this is what we're getting. And I'll just say, I miss the busy Spanish schedule. I'm not gonna lie. This week has been so slow for so many families. But, it's just been a weird week. So, anyway, with all of that, we're just gonna jump right now and start talking about the 2 events in the Swedish royal family. So let's go do that. We have a short episode today. So today in Sweden, there were 2 events. So first, King Carl Gustaf and Crown Princess Victoria took part in a digital meeting with representatives from the Worldwide Fund for Nature in Sweden. I really thought that the WWF was a King Carl Gustaf patronage exclusively. So it kind of surprised me that Victoria was in on it. Not that much, because she does care a lot about nature as well. But it was kind of surprising that Victoria was in it. So, and sometimes they'll do that if it's something that she's going to take over, but also just here's, where my interests lie and here's where your interests and mine collide. So who knows? And then also today, not Crown Princess Victoria. Where'd that come from? I definitely read the wrong line in my outline there. But Queen Sylvia took part in a digital visit to a child rights agency, and they gave no descriptive information. So I do stick by my rant on the Swedish royal household yesterday. I did a lot of ranting yesterday. Today I didn't do as much ranting. I did some eating of some humble pie though. So anyway, that is what was going on in Sweden today. They do have a couple events scheduled for tomorrow and even an event on Saturday. So at least we'll have something to talk about over the weekend. And so with that brings us to the end of this episode. Really short, you guys. I know. I'm kind of here for it. They won't always be this short. A lot of countries didn't have events today. But also just it's been a weird week for me, and so I don't have a lot of filling information. I'm hoping next week kind of settles a little bit more into the routine. I'm changing things up to make sure I'm giving myself enough time for everything that I need to do. And, it'll all work itself out once I get used to things. It's just transition, and I'm a person who doesn't do well with a lot of change, at all. And obviously there's just a lot of change in a new job and a new environment, and I'm doing as well as I can at the moment. So anyway, that is what was going on in all the countries today. I will be back on Monday for an episode covering Friday events and Saturday and Sunday. Until then, send all your good vibes for my transitional weeks ahead. And check out thedailyroyal.com, The Daily Royal on Instagram. Like and review this podcast, and I will talk to you all on Monday. Have a really, really great weekend. Bye.